forecast.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's now March 15th. Halfway through March, winter should be over. Not the case. Lisa, Scott, Dillon, we'll get to winter not being over here in a minute. I want to remind you, of course, we're live on Facebook every day between 8 and 9, but you can watch this anytime on your feed throughout the day. You can also find us on our InForum YouTube channel, and we make this into a podcast as well. So just go to inforum.com/podcast and look for InForum Minute, and you can find this there in podcast form every day.
Yeah.
All right, and we have a lot to talk about, some news headlines, but weather, gosh, you know, it's just the start of kind of a mess. We're going to talk a little bit about, you know, temperatures, but can you start with the forecast today?
Yeah, clouding up. We already can see the clouds out there today. We'll start off with clouds throughout the day, not as windy as yesterday, thankfully, but the wind did make a mess of a lot of roads yesterday, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of slippery spots out there already. Temperatures warm up to the 30s, but with temperatures in the 30s and a system approaching, we're going to get a whole mixed bag of precipitation.
Oh boy.
Freezing rain, just rain, sleet, snow, all possible by the time we get into tomorrow morning. Now, it sounds like it's going to be super widespread, but it's not. It's going to be a thin, like, band of it, and it's probably not going to accumulate to too much. 1 to 2 inches of snow tops. But it doesn't take much freezing rain, much of sleet, much of rain to make roads a mess. They're already a mess.
Yep.
Anything on top of them is just going to make it worse. So that's the forecast for today. So we're watching it moving from South Dakota up our direction, and just hang tight.
Yeah.
It's the warmest day until next week, so at least we got that going for us.
Can you expand on that? That's what you talked about on First
Yeah,
News
this weekend's
a little
going
bit,
to just be poor. It's not going to be good. It's going to be a cold snap. Temperatures in the teens, so like 13 degrees maybe this weekend. It's going to be miserable.
Spring break for a lot of kids, a lot of people.
Yep.
It's like a perfect time to escape.
Yeah.
We are not escaping,
We
but
are
it
not
would be a good
escaping.
time if it's
It
not
is,
too late
yeah.
for you.
Yep. It's
Book that flight.
Yeah, exactly. Get out while you can. It's March in North Dakota, and this March is just worse than other Marches. Or it's not the worst, but we had so far, actually, talk about my first news topic now. The first 14 days of March, so first day of March through yesterday, if you compare these 14 days to all the other 14 days in March, so let's say last year's March, the first 14 days, comparing it, but all of them in the history books. It is the second snowiest for both Fargo and Grand Forks.
Ugh.
Second snowiest first 14 days of March on record. So we've had a lot of snow, and that snow, of course, which we talked about yesterday at Albedo, snow does not help us warm up temperatures, and instead of melting snow, we just keep on getting more.
Everything's working against us.
It really is. It really is. So we just can't win.
All
Maybe, and it's looking likely. I mean, we looked at the 10-day forecast. We don't have 40s in sight anywhere close in the 10-day. So we're probably just stuck with this snow. And 10 days from now is March 25th.
Yeah.
So it's looking pretty likely we'll have plenty of snow on the ground as we go into the bunny month of April. So
Funny month.
you know, it's pain. One day we'll be talking about 70s. I cannot wait, but it's not today. Not even close to. Actually, we could talk about 70s today. Their high temperature record today is 75.
Really?
Oh, wow. When was that?
Not today.
I don't know
Not
when
today.
it was. Yeah, definitely not today. Only inside
Not a
your
record-breaking
buildings.
day.
Yep. So unfortunately, it's just another sad March day. But it's gonna be warmer, so
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
We'll take what we can get.
that's all you. Yeah, you can't get anything more than that. Sorry.
All right, Dylan.
Yep.
Thanks for all your doom and gloom.
Okay, well, that was sad. Let's move into some of our news headlines for you this morning. We start with a story that we broke for you on First News this morning. Moorhead police are looking for a suspect in a stabbing right now. They were called out to the 400 block of 17th Street South just before 10 last night. They say that a man was stabbed in the stomach. He actually had to be taken to the hospital. We are still working to find out who police are looking for. All they have told us is that that suspect got away after they responded, and we're also working to learn what led up to that stabbing.
All right, a big story. Second day of classes are canceled today in Cavalier, North Dakota, after a threat of gun violence towards the school was made on social media. That happened, I believe, yesterday as the first day was canceled, and obviously the threat happened before that. So local law enforcement says those threats have not been substantiated, but the school will not be having classes today just as another precaution. Police say that investigation does involve teenagers, juveniles, and because of that, they will not be releasing much information. The school staff, though, is still being asked to come into work today as they prepare to bring students back to the school tomorrow.
Fargo police are asking for your help right now, finding a 15-year-old boy who's been missing now for 4 days. Ishmael Bangerwo. He was last seen in South Fargo on Saturday, which was March 11th. His picture is posted on the Fargo Police Department's website. I believe it's also going to be going up on InForum.com here as well. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, red, white, and blue pajama pants, and a black and white striped Adidas backpack. 4 days missing. If you have any information on where he is right now, where he has been, please call Fargo Police at 451-7660.
All right, this next story is one that's been years in the making, but now we have a new turn in it. Pretty big story. The life of North Dakota's only inmate on death row has been spared. The Biden administration ordered the U.S. Attorney for North Dakota to stop pursuing the death penalty for Alfonso Rodriguez. He's been on death row for more than 15 years for the 2003 kidnapping and murder of, I can't say the name perfectly.
Dru Sjodin.
Sjodin, okay. So the big question is why the Department of Justice made this decision. We are still working to learn why this was made. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland told the U.S. Attorney's Office in North Dakota to take the death penalty off the table, but we do know North Dakota's U.S. Attorney Mac Schneider filed that withdrawal yesterday. Whether or not Alfonso Rodriguez would be executed has been in limbo since 2001. Now, we actually did here at WDAY speak with an attorney, Robert Dunham. He's a death penalty lawyer. He thinks there are two main factors at play here with this decision. One is that Rodriguez's mental capacity, which may make him ineligible for the death penalty. And then the second would be the medical examiner who testified has come under fire for misleading work. That includes one case where someone was actually wrongfully convicted of murder. But throughout this whole thing, to be clear, Rodriguez will remain behind bars. There is no legal argument that can be made against his life sentence without parole.
And Dru Sjodin's mom, Linda Walker, we have reached out for comment. We have not heard back from her yet, but I am expecting that we will hear something from her, a big twist in this case. So stay with InForum.com and, of course, on air at WDAY. We're going to continue tracking this story for you, too, to see if we can find out more information as to why this happened. Also, new this morning, one person is dead after a crash that happened in Pembina County. That accident happened on Highway 81 just before 9 yesterday morning when a car driving north hit a patch of ice and lost control, as we've been talking about. Super icy roads yesterday. Terrible. Still not so great this morning. Lost control on the ice, slid into the oncoming lane and was hit by a semi. The 58-year-old woman driving the car died at the scene. We're still working to learn her name. The 65-year-old driver of the semi suffered only minor injuries.
There is a renewed push to ban flavored tobacco products in Minnesota. More than a dozen cities there have already done so. Supporters of a statewide prohibition rallied at Minnesota's Capitol in St. Paul yesterday. Some of those protesters included groups of students. One of them, the nonprofit group Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, estimates nearly 1 in 5 Minnesota high schoolers use e-cigarettes. Those who support a ban are concerned tobacco companies are targeting children with those flavored products.
Big story continues to be the investigation into the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank. Some new allegations are coming to light this morning. The U.S. Justice Department and Securities and Exchange Commission looking into the bank's failure, but also what we're hearing today, actions by some senior executives in the lead up to the decision by federal regulators to close that lender last week. There are now reports that 2 top execs sold shares in the company shortly before it collapsed. In fact, CEO Greg Becker, we're learning, sold nearly $3.6 million of the company's stock less than 2 weeks before that collapse. So good news, kind of a side note also to all of this, because the whole financial world has kind of been just
in turmoil with this thing.
Big time. It sounds like Wall Street has kind of taken a breath. Regional bank stocks have stabilized, showing maybe the panic is subsiding, at least for now.
Yeah, well,
hopefully.
We'll see where it goes. All right, of course, Hot Mic will be this morning from 9 to 11. Dom Izzo hosts. You can watch it on WDAY Extra and InForum.com. One of the big topics, I know Dom is a Jets fan. I don't know him super well personally, but I do know he's a Jets fan. He's got that flag in his office. But Aaron Rodgers is the talk of all the NFL right now. Will he stay in Green Bay or will he go somewhere else? And if he does, it's most likely the Jets. So you can assure that he's going to be talking about that today. There could be big news coming on that today because he's expected to go on Pat McAfee show where a lot of the times he reveals news that is worthy for everyone to hear.
Okay, all right. Well, stay tuned for that. And we want to remind you, of course, Hot Mic's also on InForum.com, and right now is a great time to get a subscription. We have this like just 1 week, so just until Friday. It's a special deal. You can get 6 months of unlimited access to InForum.com for just $2. 6 months for $2. Limited time offer, only until Friday can you get that deal. Go to InForum.com/subscribe and get all the details there.
Yeah, and remember to join us for all of our other newscasts throughout the day. We'll have updates on the weather and those local news stories throughout the day, starting again at 11 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Then, of course, join us again for First News tomorrow morning from 5 to 7.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.